Well, I'm gonna try and finish the main board today. Just gotta put the encoder, finish the OLED, and this thing here, and then should be good to move on to the RF board probably this afternoon. But have a little time. Grocery stores aren't open. All my batteries are charging for the VHF contest this weekend, so might as well make some good use of the time. So first, have to run a thing from the bottom of C6 right here to this pin here. So get a little bit of wire, some scrap wire I have. Old antenna wire, actually. A nice soda beam stuff. I'm not sure what the best way to do this is. Solder it. Maybe I'll cut it and then solder it. Might be a little easier. Yeah. Need a little help holding that. Perfecto. It's a little long. Someone probably has a better way to do this, but this is good enough. I'll go to Q1. Yeah. Bend that guy around a little bit. And that'll that's pretty good. Let's see, soldering iron. Heat up. There's the solder. These guys back out of the way. See if I can solder this without unsoldering all the other surface mount stuff. Maybe I need a little extra solder on there. This wire is going to get warm. Oops, one side. And then, oops, I don't know where the camera's looking. This guy just has to reach to the bottom of C6 there, which I think that'll be okay. Well, it's on there, but not very well. I think if I can. I don't want to get my finger too close. Sometimes you gotta play with fire or something. Ooh. Gets hot. There, perfect. Now, so this goes in here, but since it's so wobbly, you gotta get, let's see, Need that in a couple minutes. I think this is just long enough for... Hopefully there's more of those. Up here we go. I'll just take 2 of these and use them in the holes there as a standoffs. Let's see if I can... Well, that is gone forever. Good thing there's 4 of them here. There's 1. There we go. And then we can just put these guys in here. And this will go in here. We just gotta get everything lined up the right way. I wonder how he does it in the video, if he puts the standoffs this way or that way. Let's see. Somewhere I have it. Oh.
Bring another pin. Check again, now we see. Turn it around without worrying it dropping out. If you put additional spacers, it will be this one on here. Here, and by using
like normal instructions,
you might see
it'd be so much easier.
This leaves the OLED a little bit. Good. The OLED is ready to use. Now we could just put the higher components. So we might as well save this for the very last. It's no problem just soldering it here, and by using an old breakaway pin header.
So you must have some secret.
You can just place that below here and here.
No, he puts the tall end up. Well, now we know. And that's how I have it. I guess I can just trim those down later. Yeah, that'll be nice and even. Make this guy up. Two. No, it's a whole single unit. And flip it over. Solder 1 pin, make sure it's flat, and then do the rest. Come on, you can do it. And 1. That looks pretty decent. Yeah. Do the rest. 3. Oh, ground plane. Sucking all the heat out. And then there's one right here. And, ooh, this one's a little tight. But we can do that without unsoldering all of the SMT stuff. Yeah, that looks good. Almost soldered on. See if we can trim these pins without shooting stuff too far. Whoops, lost one. Trim these upper guys. Okay, now we have some nice conductive bits lying around. Let's see, I think after the OLED, the inter-PCB, and then the rotary. So this one, you'd expect, well, this goes on top, so you'd expect it to go with the long end down, but turns out we want to do it that way so we get better, they sit closer. And this should have no problem. Oh yeah, that'll connect even if it's the short way. Oops. So again, just do one and then make sure it's straight, because that'll be a real pain. We have to change it. No, everything's ground. I'll try this guy. It's not ground, I think. Well, I don't know how well you can see, but that is certainly not straight and level. The side is sticking out way more. It's fairly straight up and down though, so we didn't do too bad. Now it's sitting flush against the board, not totally flat or totally vertical. That looks pretty good. Now to do the rest. Oh, maybe they'll heat up the ground plane soldering this first one. The rest will be a little easier. That still looks straight. Come on, you can do it. I think I have to cut all these pins down, which will be slightly annoying, but whatever. Or F. Huh. I guess, yeah, it doesn't matter if the low-level signal is on this board. We want all the amplification and filtering on the next one together. You know, because if we have slightly more losses going through these non-RF connectors, it's not that big a deal before the final amplifier. been about 1,000,000 degrees here the past couple days. I think the weather is finally cooling off, you know. The outside temperature was finally below 70 when I woke up this morning. But it's been so hot recently, everything else in this apartment is nice and warm, so it doesn't feel any cooler in here. That looks pretty good. Now we'll check some of these grounds. Uh-oh. Oh, that's all ground. Too much solder on there. That was a mistake. To look nice again. Those all look pretty nice. And this guy should only go in one way. Before I do, I have to trim off this little tab here. I don't know if it can be seen. It apparently gets in the way later. I don't know if I could just bend it over. That might be easier. Oh yeah. Oh. That'll be cuttable later if I need to. Oops. One of those pins is bent. There's 3 on one side, 2 on the other, so you know it's in the right way. And there should, 3 of the pins are to tell you which way it's rotating. And the other 2, I think, are for the switch. Or maybe it's power ground and rotation left, rotation right, and switch. And I forget. You can find that stuff online if you really care. Or you can look in the schematic. Let's see. Trying out my new screen sharing. And if we scroll up to the interesting part, oh, ABC. There's ground. And these are going to the rotation each direction. Oh, and then this is just a switch on the 2. And it's multiplexed to only take 1 input, which is pretty clever. But another one, solder a pin, see how, make sure it looks flat, and solder the rest. Don't want to lose those guys. I should put them back on. Oops, it's already out. Let's get it close to start. Oh man, I just knocked it out again. Oh well. Here we go. I think I have to solder one of these bottom ones to really get it to hold. There we go. And if I heat it up, push in, that appears to be sitting level, which means we can safely do the rest. These big ones on the side here are just for mechanical stability. They're not connected electrically, but we'll do them anyway. It'll make me feel better. Especially since this knob is going to get a lot of use as the VFO. Not to inhale too much of it. Touch that guy. I think that looks good. These guys back on before I lose them. And there we have it, the main board. So now the fun part comes. We can set that aside. I don't think I can do it right now. I got some other stuff to do, but let's see. This RF board came with the group buy and has the components, if I can get it out, for the low band, so 80, 60, 40, 30, 20, and a bunch of the SMT capacitors are already on there. However, I really wanted one to do the classic band, so 80, 40, 20, 15, 10. I think that'll be more interesting. And so I acquired a second one, and this one is set up to do the high bands, so 10, 12, 15, 17, 20. So what I'm going to do is remove and change a bunch of the capacitors on this one to set it up for the classic. So slot 1 is already 10 meters, that's okay. Slot 2 is set up right now for 12, I want 15. And so I gotta work out which capacitors need to change and which ones to put on. And so I'll pull off the change ones, and then from slot 3, which is already 15, I'll have to take some of these off and move them to the corresponding spot on here, and then do the same for 3 to switch it down to, this would go to 20 meters, 40 meters, and 80 meters. And I'll have to cannibalize this original board for some of the parts. And you know, this one came with a complete set. It has the correct sort of SMA connector, which is good. I guess it has extra lot of things, but whatever. So I'll do that, and then once that's done, I'll have to see about finding a 3D printer, or somebody with a 3D printer. And then I bought some from everybody's favorite Adam, some of his SMA connectors, so I can build a end-fed half wave. And I think if I cut it for 40 meters, I should be able to get 40, 20, 15, 10 on a single antenna, and that'll be nice. And I can just have the nice compact, this guy, and I don't know which way this goes. Let's go that way. Oh yeah, the toroids go on the bottom. And so this will be there, and then I'll have a single small antenna. It'll probably fit on a winder about like this, which is not much bigger than the final one. And we'll have a pretty nice lightweight setup. So that's it. That's the main board. And we'll see how I feel this afternoon. I might get started on the RF board, or maybe that'll wait until this weekend or next week or something. We'll see. But see you next time. 73.